When you look at what individual teachers can do, it's incredibly impressive. One of the teachers that colleagues of mine and I worked with over a number of years, a person called Lisa Leone, who worked in the York Region Board, was incredibly brilliant in her practice and in welcoming kids' languages into the classroom, getting them to write dual language books. But in her practice, it was, at least initially, it was just within her classroom. This is happening. It wasn't happening in the entire school. And so students would note the fact that in Ms. Leone's class, they were very, very welcome to use their languages, and their languages were seen as something positive, but they were reprimanded in other classes for using the languages. And so when we are able to move from just being a single teacher or a couple of teachers into a whole school focus, then I think the impact increases dramatically. And obviously that process is helped if the school principal and vice principals are aware of the research on language awareness, aware of some of the research relating to multilingualism. But unfortunately, in a lot of contexts, that's not the case, because a lot of principals, in addition to teachers, have not had the opportunity to acquire that information or that knowledge. And so I think examples like what Hannah shared with us, and examples from teachers like Lisa Leone and other teachers across Canada, in fact, and in many parts of Europe, show just how powerful it can be when we move from just a single teacher into an entire school focus on making the whole school a language-friendly school. Well, it's amazing listening to Hannah talk about her practice, because she says so many things that are important, and I think it's really inspirational. It's inspirational for me listening to her, because what she has done is take some ideas that were new to her and then taking them much, much further in terms of what this looks like in practice. And it illustrates something that I've talked about in a number of presentations recently, that when we look at the growth of multilingual pedagogies, they've often come about as a result of dialogue between university-based researchers and educators, but it's the educators who are the knowledge generators, and they're the ones who have pursued innovations in their classrooms. They have shown what's possible, and I think that relationship can be really, really powerful. So when teachers position themselves and are positioned by others as knowledge generators, rather than just people who receive research and then try to implement it, I think it's a much more powerful identity for the teachers to take up. And the importance of being a knowledge generator in this context is that there are no formulas, there are no teacher manuals on the wall that you can take out and say, okay, here's how you teach them in the United Nations in your classroom.